Good morning. The Friday, August 29th, 2025 regular City of Knoxville Public Officer hearing is called to order at 9:39 a.m. I'm Nicholas Bradshaw, the Public Officer designated by the Mayor as described in the City Code of Ordinances, Article 6, Unfit Buildings, and charged with addressing properties in the city that are out of compliance with the adopted codes of the City of Knoxville. The adopted codes include the 2024 editions of the following: International Fire Code, International Building Code, International Residential Code, International Plumbing Code, International Mechanical Code, International Fuel Gas Code, International Existing Building Code, International Swimming Pool and Spa Code, and the 2017 edition of the ICC ANSI Accessibility Code, the 2023 edition of the National Electrical Code, the 2018 edition of the International Energy Conservation Code, and the 2018 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code. The public officer is authorized to hold hearings, administer oaths and affirmations, examine witnesses, and receive evidence and issue orders as a result of his findings in determining the condition of buildings that are dangerous, unfit, and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants and or public. The procedure for the public officer is as follows. Each case will start with a report and presentation of evidence by officers representing various city departments. Today, this will primarily consist of, but is not limited to, evidence presented by Mr. Scott Elder, Neighborhood Codes Enforcement Manager for the City of Knoxville. Mr. Elder is employed by the City of Knoxville and is certified as a Property Maintenance and Housing Inspector. Following the city's report and testimony, the owner or owners and or their legal counsel, as well as any members of the general public, will be given an opportunity to respond. The public officer has the authority to limit this time as per his discretion. Today's agenda will be modified to hear the cases of property owners present at this time and the orders signed up as you entered the hearing room. We make this accommodation to minimize any inconvenience to the owners and members of the public here today. For those actively participating in today's meeting, thank you. Your involvement and active participation is appreciated. As per legal counsel, I need to read the following notice of demolition into the record. Any person who intends to perform work on a structure that the public officer has placed an order against shall first make application to the building official and obtain the required permit. For orders issued by the public officer, please be aware that just obtaining permits and starting rehabilitation of a structure does not invalidate the city's power to take corrective action, such as demolition of a dangerous structure, regardless of the amount of work performed by the owner. All orders are still in effect if the rehabilitation work has not been completed and the structure has not had all final inspections approved within the time period provided by the order, or by an extension if one has been granted. Remember, if rehab is not fully complete or an extension is not in place, the structure may be demolished after the order time has expired or after any prior written extension of time has expired without any further notice given to the owner. All right, are there any questions before we start and all participants are sworn in? All individuals testifying today will need to be sworn in. If you are testifying today, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Ms. LaFew, please advise me of any individuals who arrive late and need to be sworn in mid-hearing. All right, let's get started. Ms. LaFew, what is our first property today?
4124 West Martin Mill Pike.
All right, Mr. Elder.
All right, this is a commercial building. It was last inspected on 8/6. We'll get some pictures. There we go. Some of you may be familiar with this building. 8/6/2025. It's a commercial building that was found with a collapsed roof system. The entire roof system has fallen in on it. There's a picture of it from the front. The back is even worse. It's an extreme state of dilapidation on all sides and is failing in multiple areas. As you can see, there's the back. It's including the exterior walls, the roof, the ceilings, and the foundation, just to name a few things. And there's vagrancy occurring on the property. You can see, if you'll go back one, Grace, that was a camp it was an active camp when we arrived, and you can see the debris laying there. And the city's responded to several structure and dirty lot complaints at this property for several years. Go through those pictures. That's the inside that we were able to take from through the windows. You can see the state. There's a good picture of the roof and everything collapsing. So what the city's recommending is a 60-day repair demolition order for this property.
All right. Ms. LaFew, is there anyone signed up to speak on this property?
Yes, Dan?
All right, sir, if you could please approach, state your name and address for the record.
Sure. My name is Dan Lewichuk. Address is 12640 Allen Kirby Road, Knoxville, Tennessee.
All right.
We purchased this building probably a year and a half ago. Not quite in this state, but very close to this state. The last rainstorm kind of did that roof in. Our intent is to bring it back to life. It's an impossibility for me to do it in 60 days. However, I guess I have two questions. The first question is, if I demo the roof and shore up the walls, will that buy me time with the city to put architectural plans and everything in place? Option two is, I don't mind demoing the building, but my understanding from building codes is there's a small river that runs behind me or underneath me. And once that building is gone, I can no longer build anything there. Which I could put a parking lot in. I mean, I'm totally fine with that as well. I want to know what my options are.
Yeah, I can help you with the first question.
Yeah.
The second question is more for development services, engineering, those
Sure.
folks. But sure, I think our department's concern is public safety
Sure.
and blight. So if you can somehow get that roof demoed off of there and those walls secured, the foundation secured, and get it not looking like that and safe, because people are staying around that property, across the street, next door, behind it. Creeks tend to draw people there too, so maybe keep it cleared. As long as it's not a public safety issue, I think we'd be fine with giving you more time and your team to develop a plan to repair it.
Okay.
It would just have to be something that's acceptable. We would come out and take a look at it, and maybe if your engineer could provide us something to say the walls are salvageable. You know, we're not just spinning our wheels here that is going to ultimately go down anyway. Yeah, we'd certainly be willing to work with you. We don't love to tear down buildings, but we just can't let them look like this and
No,
be a danger.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. We own a few properties on that road, so it's, personally for my business, I could use the space to put a parking lot in there, but that's another conversation, so I'll view that. And it's cheaper for me to rip it off the face of this earth than it is to salvage it, so, okay, that answers my questions.
Well, and I'll expand on that. So if the public officer is amenable to that, then I would suggest that we maybe get the order and then seek an extension in 60 days. And truthfully, by the time we process an order, that's going to be another 10 days. So that 60 looks more like 70 days
Yeah.
or even more. So if we get the order, we'll have that, as our tool.
Okay.
And then if we go back out there in 60 or 70 days, I'll be happy to bring this or ask the officer for an extension.
Okay.
So sure, there's paths, and we don't want to tear it down, and we want to
Yeah.
do what's best.
I would like to, yeah, right,
Okay?
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. If we come back in 40 or 50 days and it's some progress happening, we'll absolutely, I think, be amenable to an extension. Anyone else signed up to speak on this item?
No.
Okay. Well, all right. I find the structure at 4124 West Martin Mill Pike is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public. And I order the owner to repair or demolish the structure at 4124 West Martin Mill Pike within 60 days. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the structure may be placarded as unfit for human habitation and vacated and closed, and the city may cause the immediate repair or demolition of the building, with the cost of such a corrective action being a lien and collected as provided in city code. All right. What's our next item?
2818 Wilson Avenue.
Mr. Elder?
All right, this property was inspected on 8/1/25. Found to be vacant and unsecured. You can see some of these photos of what we discovered there. Utilities have been removed from the property. This house, as you can see, was extensively damaged by heavy fire, well beyond the 50% of what the building structure is comprised of. I think that was in 2023, per the news articles I could find. It's completely burned out, and it's structurally unsafe to enter. Our folks would not go too far inside of it. The property, in addition, is completely overgrown with trees and brush. It's become an attractive place for vagrancy, and I think children have, after speaking with the owner, he's trying to take some steps to keep children off who cut through and as a shortcut. So children are going to that property. And you actually issued an emergency demolition order on August 4th of this year. So this is a request to affirm that 8/4/25 demolition order, emergency demolition order.
Okay. Is there anyone signed up to speak on this one, Ms. LaFew?
Yes, Mr. Zimbabwe.
If you could please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Zimbabwe Umatavo, 1602 Summer Hill Place. The property has been worked on. If they entered it, they will see that we've taken all of the debris out, and it's stacked on the outside. We have a contractor who is going to repair it. He was in a serious accident, but he is better now, and he will be here, he said, no later than Thursday with a time frame and an action plan. And I would like to leave you his card. He will seal up the property. He said he will do that immediately. He would seal up the doors and the windows, and will proceed to repair the property according to the plan that he outlines. So I asked that there be a deferment and that sufficient time be allowed for the correction to be made.
All right, do we have permits active for this property?
No, and I spoke with Mr. Zimbabwe yesterday and talked to him about this. And as long as the property can be boarded up immediately, I would be agreeable to, a couple of week extension while his contractor gets in next Thursday and submits plans and works with the permitting office. If he's able to get an actual permit, then certainly we can work with him. I'm concerned about I'll stick with this for a minute. That property is damaged heavily. I mean, the entire roof system's going to have to come off. It's burnt through the roofs, rafters, all the decking's burnt. Anything can be salvaged with money, but that's a conversation that we need to have with development services, and they're going to require a licensed contractor and an extensive plan to do that, the action plan that we spoke of yesterday. But I'm willing to give him that opportunity to make that happen, as long as the property is secured and the children that he mentioned are not cutting through there, and maybe the brush is cut, the yard's cut, and that debris is removed, that type of thing. It's just got to be in a better state. It cannot remain like that for long. So maybe 3 weeks. If your contractor can be in here next Thursday,
Yeah, he said no later than next Thursday.
then maybe 2 weeks from that Thursday, and then we revisit. And if a plan cannot be finalized and a permit can't be obtained because of the structural integrity or lack of the building, then I don't see that we have any choice but to take it down. It is an unsafe building with children going there, and looks like we've had signs of vagrancy. So people are entering the properties, and the overgrowth is aiding to that. It's giving people places to hide. So it's a bad property as it is, but I think that I'd be willing to give you an opportunity to correct it. So maybe 2 weeks from Thursday, next Thursday, I think, as long as your contractor boards it up by next week, we could send our inspector by, if, maybe Tuesday. Can your contractor board it up over the weekend, over the long weekend?
No, he will not be able to. He said that he would come down here and present a time frame and action plan and respond to any other questions that's asked. But he would proceed to put the plywood around the windows and the doors.
Right. That's all we're asking at this point. If he can get that done immediately, as you said, that would help the situation.
Yeah. He said that he would do that. He would do that.
Okay.
But he can't do it before Tuesday, though.
Oh, okay.
And I think this is a holiday weekend or something?
Right, it is.
Yeah.
So how fast could he get that done? Get the board up done?
He sounded like it would be like an immediate thing. Sound like he could start immediately after he comes down Thursday and present whatever he needs to present. I don't know the jargon, but there are certain things he said that I heard you say also. So it has to do with the time frame and action plan and et cetera, et cetera.
Right, okay, well, we can revisit that maybe next Friday. Do you think he can? This just can't remain this way, I guess, as our position.
He understands that. And he was on schedule to do it, but he had a serious accident. And when you see him Thursday, you will understand. But he's back up and moving now, so he understands that.
Are you saying that you've been out there doing some work as well?
No, I cleaned it out. All that debris you see there, that came from inside of the house.
Okay.
And it was ready for him to proceed, and then he had this accident, so we had to defer it.
Okay, so we just want to make sure. I think we can live with next Thursday, and if he can get it boarded up before next weekend, not tomorrow, but the following weekend, I think we could live with that.
I will call him this afternoon and tell him that you strongly suggesting that be boarded up by weekend next.
Right, and then after that, I think that 2 weeks from there to get the permit, and if that can't be obtained, then I think we don't have a choice but to move forward with the emergency order to clear the property.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I have a question. I'll direct this to our attorney, Mr. Johnson. As I understand it, the emergency order is already in effect. I issued that on the 4th of August. So, in terms of an extension, I guess procedurally, are we talking about a delay? The order's already in place, right? Can we extend it, or would you simply rescind the existing order and issue a new one?
You can do either one. You can affirm the order today and give a 3-week extension or however long you want to do it. You can rescind the order and give how many ever days you want, 3 weeks, 30 days, however you want to do that. Or since you already have an order, you can do it, affirm the emergency order and just give how many ever weeks extension. You can put that in writing.
Yeah. I guess I feel like it might be cleaner if we just rescinded the emergency order and issued a new order, in my opinion.
I'll add this. It's not likely we can get out there before then anyway. So I think, and correct me, Jim, if I'm mishearing you, is that you can affirm it, and then our immediacy is based on what our crews can do. So I don't think that our crews could probably get out there before then anyway, so.
Yeah, that's true. I know I like to be a little more formal with things, but if, obviously it's a problem, and it needs to be addressed, but if the owner is here saying he's gonna work on it, I'd like to give that opportunity. And if there's already a demolition order hanging over his head the whole time anyway, it's already in place, I guess would there be an objection to rescinding the emergency order and issuing a 30-day repair or demolition order to be consistent with prior practice?
Well, 30 days is more than what we were going to give him, and typically I would not care that much. But I'd like to see, I mean, children are out here. I mean, that's the case. It's not, they could get out here, they are out here. And, I mean, if it could be demonstrated that it was boarded up by next weekend and secured and kept secured and monitored, that would be our concern. I mean, this is a bad property. It's one of the worst we've seen in a while. So 30 days is different than 20 days. I mean, so that's my opinion. You can choose to do with it what you like, so.
But with the emergency order in place, if something came up, something starts collapsing, then the city could take it down. And also that would, with the emergency order, it's in effect that nobody can be in it right now, as opposed to if you put a 30-day order on it, then he's got 30 days to board it up, not
Understand.
next week. You can affirm the order and then give an extension based on if he's followed these actions, if he has it boarded up by next weekend.
Okay. Well, I think my inclination is the order's been given. I think I would like to affirm the order. And I guess we'll say, so just a 3-week extension, 3 weeks from today. So that is, someone done the math on that? Friday what is it, 20th, 19th? So at that time, we'll re-inspect, Scott, is that?
Right. Well, I'd like to re-inspect before then to make sure the boarding's done. So his contract will be here Thursday. So either Friday, I think if he's coming back to work on Thursday, certainly by Friday afternoon, it could be secured. And that's really where our main concern is. So, Mrs. Zimbabwe, is that possible? If you could have your contractor boarded up by next Friday, like you said?
Now, I'm going to call him this late evening
Okay.
and tell him that specifically. What he said to me was that he would be down here to meet, he knows where he's supposed to meet, no later than Thursday, which indicated to me he could come Tuesday or Wednesday. And I can't say to you now that he could board it up by next Friday, but I would tell him that is what you're strongly suggesting.
Yes.
And by Tuesday or Wednesday, when he comes, he would be able to tell you. But I would tell him that that's what you're strongly suggesting, that this gets boarded up by Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and Mr. Bradshaw, I think that if we do affirm this order, Jim's right, that if things get worse or an event happens out there or the roof starts falling in or it's failed to be boarded, we can board it as well under this order and invoice it. So having that order affirmed gives us better options. And the reality of the timeline is we probably couldn't take it down before those 3 weeks, possibly, but I think that's a good option, so.
So I could, I guess I want to make sure I'm understanding how the procedure actually works. Obviously, I'll have to do the finding of fact and affirm the order. And then in terms of this 3 weeks, are we simply saying that the structure won't be demolished before September 19th, and he has the option to request another extension before that time?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, I will go ahead and affirm the finding that the structure at 2818 Wilson Avenue is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of its occupants or public. And then I will also affirm the existing emergency order to repair the structure at 2818 Wilson Avenue. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the structure will remain placarded as unfit for human habitation. I'm sorry, I read that incorrectly. I affirm the existing emergency order to repair or demolish the structure at 2818 Wilson Avenue. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the city may cause the immediate repair or demolition of the building, with the cost of such emergency repair or demolition being a lien and collected in the same manner as provided in city code, with the caveat that we just discussed, which no such demolition action will happen before September 19th, 2025. And if there's an opportunity to request another extension before that time, that will be considered. All right,
What was that number? September the what?
Friday, September the 19th,
19.
3 weeks.
Okay, I indeed thank you, and I'll be here with them on Thursday or before.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, Ms. LaFew, what is our next item?
It is the boarding order for 1313 Moses Avenue.
Mr. Elder?
Get you some pictures up here. Here we go. This property was boarded on March 12th of this year, 2025, and we're just requesting approval of those boarding charges.
Just the one?
Yes.
Right.
Is there anyone signed up to speak for this item?
Yes, Ms. Edva Volney.
If you could please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Good morning.
Hello.
All right, me and my wife, we bought this house 2 years ago. Then we were thinking about to rebuild. We have several options, like rebuild, remodel, or to put maybe we question about to put a double wide mobile home, but we question about it. Most of the people, they said we have to ask the city if they either in code to do that. So we were aware that the front of the house and some of the side was boarded up, but we have a lot of people around that sometimes they come and live in it. That's why we put a concrete wall to block the door. But I understand that some of the part of the building was not, was very dangerous. Especially when I was bought it, they told me, don't step on the porch because the floor is kind of like not stable and rotten and all that. But we didn't have any concern, like if it's gonna be a problem, because we were thinking about to do something like remodel or rebuild it. But when I get the order the other day, I said, well, we're gonna have to do something. So I went ahead, get a guy that came, and we boarded the porch completely. All around, I got a picture in my phone I can show you. We boarded up all around, and also we put a gate on the back of it and a kind of barrier blockage on the other side. So till we're thinking about to get it rebuilt or do something with it with the property, which.
I think that's good. I'll just verify with our codes team here. There's no existing order to repair or demolish the structure. We're only talking about the March boarding charges. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So yeah, I definitely encourage you to talk to our team here. You may need to talk to our building inspections, our development services department upstairs. I'm sure we could help you direct you to those folks for those needs you're talking about. But just to clarify for today, the only thing we're talking about right here is recovering or authorizing the expense the city undertook in March when the city went out and boarded this property. That's it. So as far as your larger project, I absolutely encourage you to talk to folks you need to talk to and get that going. But yeah, the scope of this today is really just about affirming that boarding did happen. You're not disputing that the city came out in March and boarded that property, correct?
No, I wasn't aware of that. I was out of town, and when I came back, I see a piece of wood put in that window, and I called my wife. I said, "I see a piece of wood come in the window. Who put it?" I thought that was the neighbor. I didn't have no paperwork, nothing. Maybe there were people left in there, but some people probably come in there and they come every day, all the time, before, especially in the backyard. But I didn't have no paperwork. This paperwork, this time I found it, and at the front porch. Then I said, well, I gotta come to the hearing.
Yeah,
I didn't know about nothing before at all.
yeah. Well, if you have time, or you can go jump in now if you like.
When we notify homeowners, we send the notification to the address that's on file with the property assessor's office. So right now, that address is 1313 Moses Avenue.
Yes.
So
we don't-
anytime we send you a notification, we send it to this property. So if you're not living here, that's probably why you're not receiving
we
it.
don't live there.
Okay,
No,
you'll need to
because the
you'll-
house is in danger, so we can.
Yeah, gotcha. So you'll need to update that with the property assessor's office,
Okay.
so we can make sure you get those future notifications.
Okay. Okay. No problem.
If you have a few minutes to stick around after the hearing, you can get with Grace or Scott or our team here, and we can help direct you,
Okay.
give you some direction there. But
Sounds good. Okay.
all right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I approve the boarding action that was taken by the City Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 1313 Moses Avenue due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. What is our next item?
2842 Nichols Avenue.
Do we have anyone signed up to speak on this item?
Good morning.
Yes, he's on Zoom. His name is Tayo.
All right, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Elder, if you could present first.
Sure. This is a little bit of a unique situation. We started inspecting this property 4 years ago in November of '21. At the time, we noticed that several renovations had been made to this property without the proper permits associated with those renovations. Since 2021, the house has been sold twice and has been occupied periodically since we initially notified the original owner about the structural concerns. Not sure if those concerns were passed along to the subsequent owners, but either way, permits were never obtained to correct those or bring those to code, yet it continued to be occupied with, I believe, their rental tenants. So the city's been working with each of the three owners since 2021 to obtain code compliance, but have been unsuccessful. We've dealt with all of them. I think one of them did attempt, I think maybe it's this current owner, tried to get permits, but the work was never followed through to completion. So again, the two owners sold it, things weren't done. So it's been 4 years, we're not getting action, and yet we have tenants, what I understand, occupying today as we speak in this home without proper code compliance. So after almost 4 years of working with these owners, we are kind of left without another option other than to seek an immediate repair order to get these things done, and hopefully this owner will follow through with permits and get the items looked at so that these tenants can go in there. So we're asking for an immediate repair order for this home.
There are folks living in this right now?
Yeah, I spoke with Alan this morning. He's here today, and it appears that there are folks living there.
Okay. All right, let's hear from the speaker
Good morning.
on Zoom. Yeah, just please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Adetayo Adeshida. My address is 1035 Spinnaker Street, Elgin, Illinois, 60123.
All right.
I'm one of the property owners, a property owner of 2842 Nichols Avenue. Sorry. So we purchased this property in late 2022. We got a contractor to do the repairs. So, but unfortunately, we didn't know that he didn't pull the necessary permit to address all the issues on the property. So I've been in contact with I think Mr. Alan from the building compliance department. So right about now, I have so we have 3 issues. Because the last time I was there, I scheduled an appointment with somebody from the city. So we went through it, though we couldn't get inside because the tenant was not at home. So the issue he only mentioned is that the footing of the foundation of the beam is not resting on the proper. It doesn't have a proper base. He said it's resting on a tire. That's not right. Then another issue is the plumbing. He said the plumbing line needs to be insulated. Then he said we need to pull a permit also for the electricals, for the electric wires. So I'm actually working on that right about now. I have scheduled an appointment with a plumber for Monday and an electrician for Monday. So I'm still working on getting a contractor to address with the footing of the beam holding the property. So most of the issues with the property has actually been addressed when we remodel the property. The only problem here is that the contractor didn't pull permit. So and we are ready to work with the city to make sure everything is addressed.
So we have structural problems here? Are we worried that the structure could collapse?
No, but the deck primarily is what I think we have issues with as far as that. It's not been inspected. I think I'm not sure, is it a tire? He's mentioned a tire.
There's mentioned the piers in a crawl space that currently on the rim.
Oh, so I think that they've supported something in the crawl space of the main house, putting it on a rim or a wheel, so it's not going to the ground or on a proper footing. So, and the deck there, it's not been inspected. It looks like that might need a larger timber there, depending on how it's anchored. So, again, I don't think that we're far from this. We're not asking for a demolition order. I don't think that what we're asking for are major things. It's not going to fall down, although the deck is questionable. But I think that if we can get a licensed contractor and maybe a licensed plumber, electrician, or dual contractor to come review the plumbing and this deck and the support system under there, that's all we're asking for. I think it could probably be fixed pretty quick. It's just a matter of getting someone to do that. And we haven't been able to, despite Alan's repeated efforts to make that happen. It's just not getting addressed, and people occupy this. If this were not occupied, we would have less concerns, but, we just seem to be hitting dead ends, and that's why we're here. So we're just at the point where we feel we need to get those folks out until someone takes the initiative to spend the little bit of time and attention to get these matters corrected. So that's where we are. We don't think it's going to fall down, but it needs to be looked at.
Yeah, I guess, the immediate one, obviously, if it's an immediate, you can, placard and vacate immediately.
Right, and that looks like, if we did that, it would probably be more like 40 days, we typically give a 30-day notice, and then by the time the order's processed, it could be 10 days to 2 weeks. So if the order was granted today, then the owner would have to start notifying the folks that they need to get out. Now, if within those 30 to 40 days, a permit is pulled and everything's fine, those folks we would probably be okay with them just staying there. So this would be giving them about 40 days to get this righted after 4 years.
All right, I'll ask the owner, just to verify, you have the intent to correct this action with using the proper process with the contractor and permits?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so I do, I mean, there's people living here. They obviously need to fix this problem. I don't want people kicked out of their home. I know they're renters. So that makes me nervous. Even if I order this immediately, you're telling me they've got at least a month before somebody kicks them out of their home?
Yes.
Okay. If I did a longer order, just to make sure they had ample time, you think that would be a problem?
Well, I guess we could ask the owner, how long do you need? Can you get this done within a month?
I would appreciate if you give me like a month and a half so I can have enough time. Though I intend to jump on it immediately. I've already called in the plumber and electrician for Monday, but I will appreciate, if you give me ample time, enough time. So maybe 1.5 months is fine.
What if I said a 30-day order? There's still a little bit of fluff after that to process.
Sure, you can do that. That would turn it into 2 months with the 30-day notification to vacate. So that would turn it into about 2.5 months. But certainly you can do that. It's been there 4 years, so it could probably withstand that. But I'm just concerned that nothing's ever taking place. So,
Yeah.
but I think we could, and certainly we don't want to remove people, and that's
Yeah.
why it's been 4 years. We
Yeah.
understand that people live there, and we've got records to show that we've exhausted every single effort, and this is again our last ditch effort to get this righted. So, but certainly we could live with whatever you decide.
All right. Well, just property owner, you've said you're going to fix it. I expect you to fix it. All right. I'm going to find that the structure at 2842 Nichols Avenue is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public. And I order the owner to repair the structure at 2842 Nichols Avenue within 30 days. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the structure may be placarded as unfit for human habitation and vacated and closed. What's our next item?
It's confirmation of the emergency order for 0 Tillery Street.
Hopefully it's a little easier. You can see in the pictures that is gone. So inspected on July 23rd, structure found to be unsecured. Structure was basically destroyed by a fire and it's completely burned out. We couldn't even walk in that area there where you're looking at. You issued an emergency order on July 23rd. And there were signs of vagrancy, as you can see. We believe that's what happened. There was someone living there. So we're just asking affirmation of the July 23rd, 2025 emergency repair demolition order. As you can see, the structure's gone. It's seated in straw. The work has been complete.
Anyone sign up to speak on this property?
No.
All right, I affirm the finding that the structure at 0 Tillery Street, accessory structure only, is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public. And I affirm the existing emergency order to repair and demolish the structure at 0 Tillery Street, accessory structure only. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the city may cause the immediate repair or demolition of the building, with the cost of such emergency repair or demolition being a lien and collected in the same manner as provided in city code. Next item.
2563 Wilson Avenue.
This was inspected on July 25th of this year. It's found to be vacant and unsecured. The utilities have been removed from the property. As you can see, the house is totally burned out. It's a complete burnout situation, heavily damaged all the way through. KPD was out, or KFD was out there and confirmed that. There's a news story on it. And it has become an attractive place for vagrancy. We've had signs of folks living there in the backyard. So we're asking for an immediate repair demolition order for this property.
Ms. LaFew, no one signed up to speak on this one?
No.
All right, I find the structure at 2563 Wilson Avenue is out of compliance with the codes of the city of Knoxville, an attractive nuisance, and is dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the occupants or public. And I order the owner to repair, demolish the structure at 2563 Wilson Avenue immediately. If the owner fails to take corrective action, the structure may be placarded as unfit for human habitation and vacated and closed. And the city may cause the immediate repair or demolition of the building, with the cost of such corrective action being a lien and collected as provided in city code. Next item.
It's a board order for 1712 Gillespie Avenue. This is for the April 9th, 2025 boarding.
Yep, so as she said, it was boarded on April 9th, 2025, and we're just requesting approval for those boarding charges.
Seeing no one signed up to speak on any of the remaining items, correct?
Correct.
I'll approve the boarding action taken by the City of Knoxville Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 1712 Gillespie Avenue. Seeing that there are multiple for this property, I will specify this as the April 9th action for 1712 Gillespie Avenue due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. Next.
1712 Gillespie Avenue, the May 14th, 2025 boarding.
Again, same thing. It's back in a month. So we're boarded it on the 14th of May, and we're requesting approval of those boarding charges.
I approve the boarding action taken by the City Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 1712 Gillespie Avenue for the May 14th, 2025 boarding action due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. Next.
1712 Gillespie Avenue, the June 5th, 2025 boarding.
Okay, once again, here we are in June, same thing. We boarded on June 5th, and we're requesting approval of the boarding charges. And I might add, if you have questions, as I just did, this is currently undergoing a major renovation. So a lot of the outside walls had been stripped off, and people had been going there. Since then, Alan just informed me that the contractor or owner, or both, are taking steps to keep that secured so we don't accrue any more boarding charges. So in case you were wondering why we had back to back to back. So, yeah, for this one, we're just requesting approval for the June 5th charges.
Gotcha. Thank you for the extra context. I approve the boarding action taken by the City Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 1712 Gillespie Avenue, this June 5th, 2025 boarding action, due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. Next item.
1725 Price Avenue.
Yeah, boarded on March 14th of this year, and we're requesting approval of those city boarding charges.
I approve the boarding action taken by the City Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 1725 Price Avenue due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. Next item.
2760 Tarleton Avenue.
Boarded in March of this year on the 21st, and we are requesting approval for those city boarding charges.
All right, I approve the boarding action taken by the City Public Service Department and affirm the charges related to the corrective action for the structure at 2760 Tarleton Avenue. Due to the building being an attractive nuisance and dangerous and injurious to the health and safety of the community, being open and accessible to children and members of the general public. All right, seeing no further business brought before the public officer on this day, this hearing is adjourned at 10:30 a.m. Thank you.